The U.S.-led military coalition fighting the Islamic State in Iraq and Syria, better known as ISIS, announced today, Christmas, airstrikes and coordinated attacks against the terrorist group strongholds in Syria, days after President Trump ordered the withdrawal of U.S. troops from the country. The attacks were carried out last week from December 16th to December 22nd in the Middle Euphrates River Valley. The coordinated attacks were said to have destroyed ISIS logistics facilities and staging areas, which severely degraded the group and removed several hundred of its fighters from the battlefield, the release said. So when I initially read this headline, I'd made the mistake of thinking, oh my God, they just did strikes after Trump said he was going to pull out. It's around the same time, so it's too narrow of a margin to where I am going to blame him for this. But I will say that if we see any next month, the month after that, or in any subsequent periods, it's really going to solidify, because I gave him credit for pulling the troops out of there. But you have to understand, when I talk about wanting to withdraw from these wars, the human elements of it isn't just American lives. You have innocent people that happen to, be denizens of Syria that are going to face a strong possibility of being struck by one of these drone strikes. So I can't, go and hail him as some humanitarian, especially, obviously we're bombing 6 other countries, but that's besides the point, when we still stay over there to some extent or manner. Now, again, that hasn't happened yet, but just be precautious about this. And, like I said, we're not dealing with a guy who is a warmonger in the classical sense of, the Republicans, when they, the ones in Congress were losing their minds about him pulling out, because he doesn't have an ideological willingness to be anywhere and everywhere, but because he has so many staffers who are pointing him in the direction of continuing to escalate these conflicts, he's not going to aggressively stake his position. And that's ultimately the larger issue at hand. That we're dealing with someone who, if he were, he's malleable, and that does make him better, at least when it comes to foreign policy, than most of the other Republicans, besides Rand Paul. But if that one person is quietly pushed back by multiple voices in the room, it just doesn't matter. And they're not able to, overthrow those positions. So, we saw Mattis get out because he couldn't control him, but how many other people will it take to get out of the other conflicts, and to even make sure that we get out of this one? So just proceed with caution is all I'm saying. And Merry Christmas.